Mind's Eye Audio presents Small Complications, Chapter 13, The Finale. It was late when Bobby arrived home, and for once he was relieved to find that his wife had not yet made it in either. There would be no need for him to explain his whereabouts, and at this point he really didn't give a damn about hers. He undressed and headed to bed with a smile upon his face. Brenda walked into the bedroom just 5 minutes after Bobby had fallen fast asleep. She was glad that he was sleeping and that she would not have to conceal the joy that she was feeling right now. She showered quickly and climbed into bed next to Bobby and slept like a baby. Their lives seemed to be going smoothly from what the eyes could see. Each of them possessed a contentment that was genuine. They were happier than they had been in months. Their outsides painted a very pretty picture. Few people knew the truth, that Bobby and Brenda both had secret lives. Over the next few weeks, Bobby managed to meet with his new lover on more than a handful of occasions. He was once again in uncharted territory with this relationship, but it seemed to be all that he had hoped it would be. Bobby had someone to love who loved him back and understood him. Bobby reveled in the feeling of being complete again. He appreciated this all the more in the wake of experiencing the recent emptiness of his marriage. Bobby was falling deeper, harder, and fast. His lover knew just what to say, when to say it, and how to say it. Their lovemaking was on a completely new and better level than he had ever experienced with his wife. Once again, Bobby D had all that he wanted. Even from the verge of losing, he had managed to win yet again. Brenda was not experiencing a shortage of joy in her life at all these days, and in fact, her life had never been better, she felt. She continued to see her girlfriend Felicia for their private ladies-only sessions, and she had spoken to Roderick a few times on the telephone. They talked about the possibility of hooking up sometime soon, and that was good news to her ears. She was not angry with Bobby anymore, and actually, she had never been angry at all. She was more so disappointed in him. She felt that he had let her down by turning her on to something so hot and fantastic, and then to just leave her hanging. Once she had gotten a taste of lady love, she wanted more, and since Bobby wasn't trying to play the game anymore, she made the decision to go on without him. There were times when she felt like talking to him about it, but she didn't want to come across as a lesbian or a freak to him. Besides, every man wants two girls in his bed at the same time, right? She thought to herself, and she had given him what he wanted, so why hadn't he ever attempted to bring up the subject again? She asked herself. Because he simply did not like it. It just wasn't his cup of tea, she answered herself. Oh well, I'm not angry with him for making the choice that he made, and I hope that he respects my decisions the same way, she said to herself as her final justification. And anyway, he's too busy thinking about work to even notice me anymore these days. Case dismissed, she said finally to herself. Thursday night, Brenda got the phone call that she had been waiting for. She had left her number on Roderick's voicemail, and he was returning her call. He wanted to know if she was free to hang out tomorrow night. Of course I can get free, sexy. What do you want to do? She asked him. He told her that he couldn't get their last encounter out of his head. She told him that she felt the same way. Then he told her that he wanted to take her to a whole different level tomorrow. What do you mean by that, baby? Although, with you, I think I could be down for whatever. He explained that it was going to be a surprise and that she should just trust him. And she readily agreed. Then he told her that he'd give her a call tomorrow night, and they said their goodbyes and hung up the phone. Brenda looked at her feet, and then she looked beneath them. Somewhere down there was Cloud 9. She was high now, and she couldn't wait for the day to hurry up and end. Bobby already had his Friday night planned out, and he too was in eager anticipation. He made the babysitting arrangements and locked in all his plans to spend time with the special someone in his life. Bobby sometimes wondered what went wrong with his marriage. He still held on to a little bit of guilt about exposing his wife to a disrespectful sexual act. But it was not his fault that she stopped talking to him. Nobody made her shut down and close him out. What did she really expect him to do now that she had cut him off from her and began another life without him? Though he had no hard evidence, he was no fool. He knew that she was being unfaithful, and now so was he. Bobby and his secret lover met at the Red Diamond Hotel, the best hotel that the city offered. Bobby rented the honeymoon suite, and at 8 o'clock sharp, there was a knock on the door. He opened it, smiled, and gave his lover a long, loving kiss. "Come on in. It's really good to see you. I've missed you," Bobby said. "I've missed you too. Hey, before we get started, I wanted to ask you to do me a special favor." Bobby listened as his lover continued. "Let me do something really different tonight. Let's have some company. A girl. I know a really cute one, and I'm sure you'll like her, and I think it'll take our lovemaking to another dimension. Don't say no. Just let me make a quick call, okay?" Bobby kept smiling, trying not to look too stunned. He just nodded his head in agreement and walked over to the bar to pour himself a drink. "Can you get me one too, Bobby?" his lover asked, dialing the number on his cell phone. "Sure, baby. Anything you want," Bobby said. Brenda's call came in a little after 8, and she wrote down the directions to the place where she and Roderick were meeting. She told him that she'd be there soon. Then she hurried off the phone and finished getting dressed. By 9 o'clock, Bobby had downed 4 shots of tequila and was feeling no pain. He had come to terms that this was not his suggestion, so there was no way he could be the villain. He was simply agreeing to it all. This was not going to turn out the way it did with Brenda. He poured himself another shot and then said, "I'm going to jump in the shower. You want to join me, baby?" "Sure," his lover replied. "Go on and get started, and I'll be right in." The tequila was doing a fine job of easing Bobby's mind, and the steam from the shower's hot water helped to relax him even further. He was feeling fantastic, and he was getting horny as hell. Though he thought he'd never do it again, just thinking about a threesome right now was turning him on. He thought he heard a knock at the door, and he figured that it must be the hot girl arriving. "Woohoo," he thought, and laughed to himself. Brenda arrived at the designated place at the appointed time. Punctuality was important to a professional woman like her. "It's so good to see you again, Roderick. Lovely place," she said. He kissed her mouth hotly and said, "Come on in, beautiful. I miss you too." His robe was tied loosely, and Brenda could see that he was naked underneath it, and that was a good thing. She kissed him again and ran her hand across his stomach muscles. She said. "What's the surprise that you have for me tonight, Roddy?" she asked. "Another threesome, baby," he replied. "Awesome," she said. "This time with another guy, though," he said, and paid close attention to her response, though he already knew she would happily comply. If there was one thing Roderick knew, it was women, and he could spot a no-limit freak like Brenda 100 yards away. "Are you down for doing this thing with me, baby?" "Definitely, baby. I already told you that I'm down for whatever with you," she said. He leaned in and pinned her to the wall and kissed her. The passion of their kiss kicked off her hormones, and they began stripping off her clothes like they were trying to set a new world speed record. As she stood before him, completely his and completely naked, he swept her up off her feet and carried her into the bathroom where the shower was already running. Bobby heard footsteps approaching the bathroom, and he grew excited. He couldn't wait to get the party started. Their lovemaking was already at the top of the charts, and now this could only make the best even better. He was so damn happy right now. All was right in his world, and nothing could take that away from him. Roderick carried Brenda into the bathroom, put her down, and opened up the shower door as he shouted, "Baby, surprise!" Bobby's face was an expression of horror almost as intense and frightening as the look on Brenda's face as they stared into each other's eyes, pointed their fingers at each other, and simultaneously said, "You!" Author's note. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share this with a friend. Like, comment. Appreciate you. This is The Storyteller.